Welcome to a sunny new podcast where I'll be speaking to people from the arts, business and beyond, and shining a light on their stories of success on the South Coast. Welcome to Success on the South Coast. I'm your host, Stuart Marshall, and thank you for joining us for episode 1. Success on the South Coast is all about showcasing amazing people doing interesting things in our local community. Today I'm talking to Bea Sieradzka, the founder of World of Love, a diverse arts and cultures festival which has become a destination for visitors from all over the UK. In this episode, we talk about Bea's journey from Poland and her love for her new home in Bournemouth, and how World of Love has developed as it approaches its 5th year anniversary. Diversity in Bournemouth, Christchurch, Poole, and how all cultures participating in World of Love are encouraged to be architects of their own events. The importance of authenticity and the lasting impacts of bringing a range of diverse cultures together. Success on the South Coast also aims to explore the true meaning of happiness and success, and those are subjects Bea has given a lot of thought to. So if you're sitting comfortably, let's do this. Well, welcome, Bea. It's so great to have you on the show. I'm super excited that you're joining me for episode number 1.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
And for me, this was just the perfect episode number 1. I think this ticks so many of the boxes, so many of the areas that we're looking to cover on success on the South Coast. We got people, yourself, with a great story. We've got a really interesting business, and even more so, all of the amazing work that you're doing in the community. So it's just brilliant. As soon as I discovered World of Love Festival, I absolutely loved the concept, this idea of a festival celebrating different cultures and communities, and the description I just really enjoyed was a beautiful global party. But when I started digging even deeper into the background, what really intrigued me was that the organiser of this event, yourself, was not originally from the area but had actually arrived in Bournemouth all the way from Poland. So before we get into the events and World of Love, I just wanted to go back and talk a little bit about you and your story so far. So please, could you tell us a bit about your story and how you ended up in Bournemouth?
I came to Bournemouth 5 years ago. So actually for World of Love Festival, this year is our 5th anniversary. And before that, I have been living in a small, lovely village in North Dorset, near Blandford Farm. And before that, of course, I was in Poland.
Excellent. And what you've obviously found a real home in Bournemouth, and I know you really enjoy living here. So what are your favourite things about the area, and why do you think it's appealed to you and you've ended up settling and making it home?
Oh gosh, it's a long story. So the moment I felt and I decided that I would like to run a diverse arts and cultures festival, I knew that I needed to find a place where there would be more diversity than in the area I used to live. So North Dorset is absolutely beautiful. It's a wonderful place, very lovely to bring up a child for me. Nevertheless, it wasn't at the time where when I lived there, it wasn't quite diverse, and I just had a feeling that if I wanted to run my event, it would have to be in the area where diversity is a little bit, how to say it,
more accessible, more widespread.
More accessible. It's not quite what I wanted to say, but yes, more accessible.
You're more immersed in that kind of different communities.
I would like to say more understood, but I'm not quite sure whether this would be the right word.
Yeah.
So perhaps let's not use it.
Yeah, no, understood.
It's very difficult to say. So I think in certain areas where diversity is not widely accessible, people tend to see it a bit differently. And I just knew that in Bournemouth, an event like ours, World of Love Festival, would be something that more people could feel that it appeals to them, that this is something they love, they understand, they want to learn about.
Yeah, no,
So
that
this
makes
is why.
complete sense. Yeah, and I think you said it's the most diverse area of Dorset, so you're definitely in the right place to do what you do.
If I wanted to stay in Dorset, and I love Dorset, and I wanted to stay here, it had to be Bournemouth.
Yeah, and if we just go a little rewind just slightly, what was it that initially made you move to Dorset? I know you said North Dorset, but what brought you over originally?
A job. So back in Poland, I got a job offer and I came here, and I was working for this company until I found out that I'm going to have a baby. And then for the next few years, I've been bringing up my son. And then moving forward, I decided that a diverse arts and cultures festival is something that I would like to try. Back in Poland, I used to, at one point of my life, I used to organize events, although they were a bit different kinds of events. They were events for tourists and for single people. Yes, but here, living in the UK, living in Dorset, living here as someone who comes from a diverse heritage background, I just felt I wanted to do something more.
No.
So this is why an idea to organize a community event like ours.
And as you know, one of the themes of this podcast is obviously looking at success and what it means to different people. And I'm always curious. I think one interesting aspect of that is how it evolves through time. You know, what you view as success when you're 20 is very different to maybe when you're 40 or 50 and through life. So I just wondered, when you first arrived in England, which I think you said was around 16 years ago, when you turned up then, what would success have looked like for you?
Yeah, so back then I just wanted to make some money, and that's it. I didn't really think too deeply about what I would be doing, as long as I enjoyed my work. However, having my child has changed a lot for me and in my mindset. And once I've had him, I just felt that I wanted to do something more for my boy, but also for other children like him, who so he was born here.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about other children who were born here in the UK, but also about the children who came from other countries and were being brought up in the United Kingdom. I was thinking about the families like mine with a diverse heritage background, either as just like in my situation when I came from abroad just a few years ago, but also about the families with a diverse heritage background who may be the second or third or even more generation, but the heritage background is still in another country, another culture. But also I was thinking about families. Well, I haven't really asked, but speaking to you, I don't know whether your background is diverse. You look like a very British person.
We will get to that a bit later.
All right.
Keep that thought. We'll come back to that.
All right, we will. Anyway, I was also thinking about just typical British families, because I would absolutely love them to find out more about others, about us who came here to the UK and who have made this country home. I have been living here for quite a few years, and I have to tell you that I really love this country.
Yeah.
I fell in love with it. At the beginning, when I came, I remember I was when I would talk to my family or to my friends, I would say, I'm coming back home, meaning, I'm going for a holiday, I'm coming back home, I'm going back to Poland. Then I would start, and I would notice, I would start saying, I think I'm drifting away from your question, I'm so sorry.
Not at all, it's a good story.
So then I remember there was a period of time when I would say, I'm coming back home, when I would go to Poland. And then when I was in Poland, I would say, right, now it's time for me to go back home, meaning to the UK.
Yeah.
These days, and it's been like this for quite a few years already, this is my home. When I'm going to Poland, I'm visiting my family, but I'm not really going to home.
No.
I'm not going home, I'm going to visit my family.
Yeah.
This is home.
Well, no, I think that it's really lovely to hear that story, and very positive.
So, I wanted everyone to learn more about the beautiful world we live in, because there is so much more to every country, to every culture, to the people behind it. We all have a lot of interesting stories to share. We all have a lot of beautiful sounds, beautiful colors, wonderful food. I know that you like foods. So everyone has something to share.
Yeah.
And to me, World of Love was supposed to be this place where everyone comes and just feels themselves immersed in the world.
Yeah.
And they feel that, oh wow, this is I don't know, a singer from Poland. Oh wow, this is a dancer from Mexico. Oh my gosh, these beautiful Bolivian ladies, they dress so beautifully. Oh my gosh, Filipino food, Ghanaian jollof rice, and so on and so on. So yeah, so many things to share. And both I wanted the people from diverse backgrounds to share it, but also the British people. Yeah. Everyone says these days that we all have a diverse background somewhere, but yeah, typical British families. I also was hoping that they would come and just find out more. We even have this slogan for the event: the world on your doorstep. So you don't really. So World of Love Festival is about just coming there and seeing the world, even without traveling, getting the taste of it.
Yeah, which is an opportunity not everyone has, you know, to visit all of these places. So yeah, you're providing an amazing experience for those, like you say, British families as well as all the communities. But I think in a way you've already covered it, but it's interesting to me that you obviously came here, you were doing a job, almost out of necessity you found yourself an entrepreneur. And I remember when we first chatted, you were almost like, oh, I'm not even sure I consider myself an entrepreneur, but you've almost, because you've had this amazing idea, you've thought, well, if I'm going to do it, if it's going to happen, it's going to have to be me that makes it happen. So let's really get into World of Love then, get into the details of it, because when I first discovered it, I just thought it was a great idea, and I know you've given a flavour of it already. But just to be really clear then, for those people who aren't familiar and might not have joined before, like what could a family expect when they walk in through the gates of World of Love?
To me, what is the most important is authenticity. So I very often look at things from my personal point of view, so I try to include what I personally find interesting, and authenticity is the thing that I love and focus on. But also I listen to the people I collaborate with. So when I don't think I've mentioned it before, but actually World of Love Festival 5 years ago was supposed to be, and it started as a language festival.
Okay.
Yeah, so it all started with my boy, who these days is bilingual. He speaks Polish and English. He reads and writes in both languages. So he is bilingual. He is becoming multilingual because he also learns a few other languages. Nevertheless, when I started, I was living there in North Dorset in a very non-diverse community, a wonderful community. I need to emphasize it because it was such a wonderful time for all of us. Nevertheless, in a very non-diverse community, I was concerned about my son coming from a diverse heritage background. To me, it was incredibly important to make sure, as his mom, that he feels the power. To me, I believe that the more you have to share, the more interesting you can be, the more things you can do. And I wanted him to feel it. And then when I started to speak to others, I've realized that I wanted other children to feel the same. I don't know, can you imagine that my son, back at the time when he was little, right now he's 13, nearly 14, but when he started school at this small village school, he was out of around 100 children. He was, as far as I know, and I was asking around, he was the only bilingual child in the school. And to me, children can perceive being different in different ways. So I wanted him to feel that this is his power, that he can speak two languages. And so when I started World of Love, and I came here to Bournemouth, and I was amazed because I could see people from so many different countries. Then I started to get in touch with different schools, and I've realized, oh my gosh, my boy, maybe back there he was the only bilingual child, but here so many kids can speak more than one language, and how wonderful it is. And I thought how incredibly powerful it must
real
be.
Gift.
Oh my gosh, of course it is. And this is why I thought, let's celebrate it. So World of Love initially was about the celebration of diversity, but it was focused on celebrating the linguistic diversity.
Okay, that's really interesting.
But at the same time, to me, languages can't really be separated. I imagine that when you learn a language, you want to find out more about the country, don't you? You want to try some foods from this country.
You need to learn all your favourite foods in that language.
Absolutely. Yes, just like you've learned. Yeah. So yes, exactly. But then I started, so our first event, it was a language festival, but then I was meeting more and more people from diverse cultures. I work very closely with the community leaders from different cultures, and I love talking to them. I love learning from them, and they've inspired me to make a little change. So
can I just ask you about that?
Yes, please. Yes, you need to be interrupting me, because once I start talking about it,
I don't like
stop.
to, because I love your passion for the event, and they're just brilliant stories which are covering a lot of the questions I had for you. But I was aware that the festival started at a school, and I think it was 2019.
Yes.
And I didn't know the language focus though, so that was interesting how that journey's gone. But as you mentioned earlier, we're now coming up to the 5th event, which in itself is a really impressive milestone. Having been involved in events myself, I know how difficult it is, and to have successfully grown and built it over that time is just brilliant. So in terms of that 5-year journey, can you give us a flavour of how it's evolved from those beginnings to what you've got planned for 2024?
Yes. So as I've mentioned, it started at one of the local schools. Back then in 2019, I didn't know anyone from here, from anyone related to diversity. I was a complete stranger to Bournemouth. So when I first started to organize this event, I was still living in our beautiful, lovely small village in North Dorset.
What was the name of the village, just for people curious about where you're talking about?
Winterbourne Houghton.
Okay.
Winterbourne Houghton, yes. So it's a small village near Blandford Forum. I think it's around, I hope if anyone hears me talking right now from the village, I hope that I remember the number correctly and they won't be contacting me afterwards. So I think around 60 houses or so.
Okay.
So really a small
Really
village,
small, yeah.
beautiful area, very quiet, very peaceful.
I must visit. I don't know if I've ever been, but I definitely need to check
lovely.
it out now.
Yes, it's lovely. So I didn't know anyone. So I started to contact some organizations online. I came here to the first one. It's called Dorset Race Equality Council. It's not a council, it's a charity, a charitable organization. So they have directed me to the first few people. And then I went to, just because I was in Bournemouth, I went to a Polish restaurant, non-existent, unfortunately, right now. But I went to this restaurant. I said hello to the owner, and we started chatting. Then he introduced me to another few people. Not another person. Yeah, other few people. Then these people have introduced me to more and more, and this is how it started. So, and this is how my work on the event has been from the start. Just step by step, getting to know more and more people
organically.
Yes,
as you spread your wings across the community.
Yes, and in fact, even to the point that until now we have not really advertised the event. Sometimes I would add a small Facebook ad, but that was it. So the event has been growing every year, doubling the numbers. So we've had around between 3,000 and 4,000 people last year.
That's a really impressive number, because what would it have been? I know you said it doubled in attendance every year. So what would it have been when you started in 2019, when it was just focused around the school?
Just a few hundred people.
Wow, that's amazing growth.
Especially that, the way it's being done, I think it's quite unique, which means that normally there are more people involved in the organization. For World of Love, I don't know whether I should be saying this publicly. It's mainly me.
Yeah.
Plus a few more people who closer to the event come and support me beautifully, and this year, and I have to say it because it's I'm so grateful. So this year is the first year, an incredibly significant year for me, because it's the first year when we have introduced paid tickets. Until now the event was free of charge.
Which I have to say is another amazing thing that I was really impressed by, because everyone's struggling. We constantly hear about the cost of living crisis, and the fact that you've managed to put this on for free for families, I just thought was really amazing. And I think you've been conscious of that, and even though you're now charging, it's still a very small fee, isn't it? It's still very affordable, which is brilliant.
Yes, it's so the entry for children is free of charge, and for adults it's just $5.50 per day. Yeah,
which is amazing.
But you know, the event has grown, and it has been growing, which means that the expectations from everyone involved, both the visitors and the organizers and the community leaders, everyone, they become higher and higher, and that means that, how to say it, you know, nothing is free. The fact that the event has been made accessible free of charge to the public doesn't mean that it was organized free of charge, because we still have to pay for the stage, for the tents, for the security, the insurance, and so on and so on. And considering that the event is growing, these figures unfortunately are also growing, because we need more tents, we need a bigger stage, and so on and so on.
And like you said, you want to give people an even better and better experience. In order to do that, you need more finances behind it.
Yes, so for me, the introduction of the fee for the ticket, as I said, I really hope that it's still, you know, quite sensible. Yes, I hope so. So this introduction was to ensure that the event becomes more sustainable. Until now, I've been applying for, working on, and then sometimes getting and sometimes not some funds, some grants, but it's just considering that more and more people would like to enjoy the event. This introduction of the tickets will give me this certainty, hopefully, that we can be growing regardless of whether the grant, the application, has been successful or not.
So you're more self-sustainable in that respect.
That's what I'm hoping for. Yes. These days we have people who contact us from as far as London, Birmingham, Manchester. They come to the event.
That leads me on, actually, whilst you're on that subject. Please. I wonder, where do you see it going? Like, in, you know, for your 10th anniversary, do you have kind of a vision of what you'd like to see? And could there be World of Love festivals in different cities across the country? I know at the moment, when you're doing it all yourself, that probably seems like, you know, it's hard to even imagine. But what are your dreams of where you can take it?
My gosh, you see, you have asked such an interesting question. And in fact, I have to say that you are not the first person who asked me this question specifically, because you've mentioned, could it be going to different places? And really, quite a few people have already asked me this, and it's so difficult for me to answer. To me, I would love World of Love to grow in Bournemouth, to become bigger and bigger here in Bournemouth. The other places, it's so difficult, because you see, it is possible. I do have an idea or two, and perhaps I won't be talking about it just yet.
Well, when you come back next time, maybe.
Yes, then it's quite possible. So you see, the event is growing, it's changing every year. I've mentioned this before, I love to listen to people, and whenever I can, I try to adapt. So this flexibility to me is very important. Until now, World of Love has been very much about the local communities, the local connections, which means that moving it somewhere else would mean that we would have to change a little bit the way it works, because these communities are here, and for now we have people from other towns coming to Bournemouth. This morning I spoke to a wonderful poet who is Nigerian originally, but he lives in London, and he will be coming here to Bournemouth. Yes,
so in a way it's nice that, you know, especially for me, South Coast podcast, that we're making it a destination.
Yes. So this is how I see it now. Whether it's going to change in the future, I think if you kindly invite me next year or in 2 years' time, maybe we can talk about it. For now, I get really excited about the idea that people from other from other towns are coming here to Bournemouth to trade. We have traders coming from other places. We have artists. There will be, for example, a large, wonderful Bolivian group of dancers, traditional dancers, 10 people or so coming from London to share the Bolivian culture here at World of Love.
That is amazing. I'm excited already.
Oh, I am. Yeah.
Well, so I mean, there's so many aspects that you've already touched on about running this festival, but what do you think the main challenges of running a successful festival are?
Just one? There are so many challenges, my gosh.
I guess just to give other people the benefit, if you've got people maybe watching or listening to this thinking, I've had this idea for a festival, what do you think that, what's top of the list, or a few things that spring to mind that are difficult or challenging?
Bureaucracy without naming any organizations that I work with. Bureaucracy, this is number one. It's obvious, of course, that the bigger the event, the more responsibilities as the organizers we have, and this is obvious. Nevertheless, sometimes the amount of paperwork is just overwhelming, and the expectations can be apparently, having spoken to people from different places in the UK, the expectations regarding the documentation can also be different. So this can be a challenge. Obviously, the funding, the money, to find enough funds to make sure that we can deliver our event, and we can make it sustainable. Yes, this is another challenge.
And the promotion as well, I think we
the
talked
promotion
about, because people, there's so much competition for people's time now, and just getting the word out there can be
Yes.
difficult with being bombarded with all
Yeah.
sorts of information. That, I guess, is another challenge, and hopefully things like this will help promote it. But how have you gone about making sure you've got the word out there?
So normally, it's the communities I work with. So they, it's mainly for World of Love until now. It's been mainly word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which
so
is the best way, everyone
it's
always
the best
says.
way.
Yeah.
Yes, nevertheless, now most definitely some more promotion, or the more the better, obviously. So some more promotion would be amazing. Very often it's related either to the relationships you have with other people, or to money. So yeah.
Definitely. You already touched on it a little bit, but I think most people are aware that particularly in places like the UK, there it is a challenge because of the regulations and the environment we have to operate in. There's lots of health and safety. You talked about all of the paperwork, and even noise pollution, things like that are a big issue for events. But you've really managed to work successfully. You've mentioned the Dorset Equality Council. You obviously have fantastic relations with the Bournemouth Council, BCP. So how have you managed to successfully really partner with those organisations to help make this a success?
I've been blessed with a lot of good luck because I have managed to meet some wonderful people. To me, working on this event from the start has been about the people, about building relationships. I wouldn't have done it in a million years without all the incredible people I've managed to meet, both in the council, really some supportive, wonderful ladies and gentlemen, and within the communities, within the organizations, companies. Yes, it's all about the people.
And I know, having spoken to you previously, we both love meeting new people, and I know you've said you've had a bit of luck along the way, but I'm sure that your enthusiasm and passion has also been one of the things that's made people kind of gravitate to you and try and help you.
Most definitely, I am passionate and enthusiastic about what I do, yes, but also I believe that the idea of World of Love is appealing to them, and this is why they want to get involved, and this is why they are supportive, because I think they understand the importance of what we do, and they can feel it, that it can be beneficial to, I think, to everyone, to some extent to everyone.
No, definitely. And I guess that perfectly leads on to another question, because having watched some of the footage and videos from prior years, I noticed that there are not just benefiting the local people and communities, but there's also local businesses getting involved, and probably some sponsorship opportunities, including, again, just to give a shout out to some really well-known South Coast brands, Lush being an example I saw were involved. And I wondered, with the kind of more challenges around government funding, and you said that's all, the finances are always an issue. Do you think that's something you expect to see more of in the future, trying to partner up with some of these brands?
Most definitely, yes. Most definitely, this is what I'm hoping for. Even right now, there are companies like Lush in the past, but also there are organizations who support us every year, the police, the fire services, but also for the past 2 years, the NHS. So, not to mention the BCP Council, who, as I said before, and I will be also emphasizing it, how important their role has been from literally our second event. So the first event I organized completely on my own, without just me, and the one for volunteers, I was also a volunteer. We just all volunteered to have it done. But starting from the second event, the council has been involved and very much supportive. So I very much hope that more and more companies will see what we do and will be supporting our idea.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sure they will, and I'm hoping platforms like this, people might be watching and think that it's something they'd like to get involved in.
I would love that.
I'd want to dive even deeper into the whole idea of the diversity, because this is obviously a massively important issue everywhere, not just in BCP. I don't know if we mentioned the number earlier, but when I looked at the website, I saw that there's been over 50 different cultures and communities represented over the history. I've got here from Greece to Ghana and Japan to Jamaica, so representatives from a whole array of different countries. And when I read that list that was so wide-ranging, I wondered how you even went about that process of approaching all of those different communities.
These days, so just as I've mentioned, step by step, word of mouth, relationships, people introducing me to one another, me searching on Facebook and all of a sudden encountering an interesting profile, or reading comments in the group, and all of a sudden I find someone and I think, oh, that's something, I would like to get in touch. But yes, people, so first it started with me going to different people and being introduced to more and more. These days, very luckily, it's not just me being introduced, but also people getting in touch with me.
You're onto something good when you start having those people come to you, so that must be really satisfying to get to that point.
I feel very lucky.
Yeah.
Yes,
great.
It's wonderful.
What has the reaction been like then when you've approached someone? I can imagine, like we said, it's such a great concept that people must be really excited about it.
Yes.
Just to be asked to be involved and have the opportunity to showcase all the great things about their culture that makes it special and different.
Absolutely spot on. Yes, exactly. I think everyone, whoever I approached, they always say yes. They always want to be involved. They are always keen to do something. So yeah, that's wonderful. People feel that this is at the World of Love, there are so many different multicultural events, and this is wonderful. World of Love is about getting to the roots in a way. To me, it's incredibly important that it's very authentic, which means that I'm more than happy and always delighted to invite both professional artists and people who are just starting. But I can see the talent is there.
Yeah.
They just, they don't have the platform yet. Or people who have been successful in their countries of origin, but they came here and they don't really know what to do, how to start, who to talk to. So whenever I find out about them, I invite them. They come and they get this platform.
Yeah.
And it's not just one country, it's more. So when you come to the event, you can get the feel of the world, because it's so diverse, and it can be so different. And I have to say one thing, if that's okay, and you can cut it out if you want afterwards, but I just want to say it, because to me this is so incredibly special, and I'm so thrilled about it. The world at World of Love Festival, I always focus on the beauty. We celebrate what's the most wonderful, exciting, colorful, but obviously we know that the world can be, it has its different shades. And sometimes, how to say it, we know obviously politics, not people from different countries not always get on well with each other, which is sad, but this is the reality, isn't it? And I have to tell you, I am absolutely thrilled until now. Touch wood. Everyone has been happy to come to World of Love, and sometimes I have there are people from different cultures when I know that normally they wouldn't be celebrating next to each other for many different reasons, yet they are happy to come to World of Love and celebrate the beauty of the world, celebrate their culture in this place. And to me, I can't express how grateful I am for this. To me, this is so incredibly special. I think I'm getting emotional. This is really incredible to me.
Well, you should be really proud, because I think it is so positive to have managed to achieve that, because unfortunately, like you say, we do hear so many negative stories about clashes of culture.
Yeah.
So to have somewhere where it's celebrated and everyone just turns up to have a great time and enjoy the best that everywhere's got to offer, I think that was what I just loved about the concept. Like I said at the start, that was what I found really exciting about it, and the fact that we've got that on our doorstep is just amazing.
But I think I want to add, because this is I didn't say it in full, I didn't say everything, so it's important that it's not just because this is World of Love. It's important to add that these people come to World of Love because they understand that the politics, back there in different countries in the world, is not just everything. They and they all have their we all have it, in every country. There is something that we like about them ourselves, we like about other cultures, or we don't. There is history, always, countries, especially neighboring countries, they not always get on well because of the history of the past. But yet the people who come to World of Love, I think they see past it. They just know that this is a place for them to look above.
Yeah, to leave that behind in a way
Yes.
and focus on the human side of it.
Yes,
more.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is wonderful, and I want to emphasize it's not just because it's this festival. It's about these people who come because and become involved in the event because they see more in getting together. They want to cross certain boundaries that may have been there for a long, long time. They want to do more. They want to meet more people. So this is wonderful. It's not really about me. It's about these people who become involved in this event.
Yeah.
It's about these community leaders, but also the businesses, the artists, craftspeople, sports people, everyone. These people come and become involved in World of Love for so many wonderful reasons.
Well, it's amazing to hear you talk, and I'm really looking forward to experiencing it in a couple of weeks and coming along and being one of those people. And you asked me earlier about my heritage, so it's not as exciting as some of the places we've mentioned, but it is also a slightly strange mix. I was brought up in this area, but actually born in South Africa. So my mum's South African, and I've got a Scottish dad.
Oh my gosh! I see.
So I was really happy that I saw on the list South Africa's been represented, but I don't think I saw Scotland. So I was wondering at some point, are we going to have a bagpipe band or something? Or for me, maybe a van selling Scotch pies, which is one of my favourite things.
So I'm not quite sure whether it's going to be this year, but for the past 2 years, because the person I'm thinking about, he is a wonderful artist, painter, who is becoming more and more busy with his exhibitions in the world. Nevertheless, there is an artist, Alexander Dacres, and his heritage is also actually very interesting because it's Scottish and Chilean.
Okay.
So
sounds like he's slightly outdone me with
So I have to tell you, when you look at him from the appearance, you would think, yes, a person from Chile. And then he starts talking to you with this beautiful Scottish accent.
Wow.
Really beautiful Scottish accent, yes. So it's a wonderful mixture, and he's very talented, and we were very lucky for the past few years to have him involved in World of Love. This year, I'm not quite sure whether he can't do it. I will actually speak to him today.
So he has been before. So Scotland has actually been represented.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
And I have a soft spot for Scotland. I've been there once, and it's such a beautiful place in the world, and I would love to have more of the Scottish culture represented. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to that in future. When it comes to really genuine diversity and inclusion, you've kind of alluded to this a little bit already, but just being aware of it is almost not enough. I think just often people might only be aware through watching a television program or reading about it perhaps, but it's not the same as, it's no substitute for experiencing that culture. And World of Love does almost give you as close an opportunity to experience it where you couldn't go and visit 50 odd different countries. But I think one of the key things I read that you said was the magic is you don't just attend, you participate, which really kind of struck with me as being really key to this whole event.
Yes, to me, this is everything is about the experiences. You know, it's as I've mentioned before, I like to do things. A lot of the things that I do at World of Love is the way I would like to have something done or experienced. And to me, the exciting part is about tasting what's real, immersing, trying the authentic things. So and really trying about, it's about yes, you know, instead of, how to tell you, even when I invite the traders or craftspeople, I always ask them to prepare something for the visitors so that they could become more involved. So when you come to World of Love, very rarely you will find just stalls where people are standing and just presenting things and talking to you. Most of the time, everyone offers something special so that you could try how to, I don't know, sew something, how to or taste, just doing things, because
so
I think
more interactive.
it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. Yes.
Well, that sounds amazing. And I think one of the core principles of the event that makes it a success again is that I reading one of your quotes, that all of the local communities, they're architects of their own cultural events. So it's not you going to them telling them what you want, but you go to them and I guess work with them and try and ask them to volunteer ideas of what they think would be the right activity or event or food or whatever it might be.
It's the other way around. So it's them who come to me and tell me, okay, Bea, so we want to do this, this and that. We know this artist, we know this lady who can do this and that. We have this trader and her food is just amazing and you need to invite her. So it's them telling me what's best within their community. Yeah. So this is why it's so special, because, you know, obviously there are so many diverse places where you can go and try things. But at World of Love, I believe that if you come there, you will have this rare opportunity to taste, to experience what's authentic.
Yeah, no, that's definitely...
for example, this morning I got some photos and I'm so excited to share them in social media from one of the community leaders from Ghana, and he sent me some really exciting photos. So they will be offering some board games, activities, and yes, and I was looking at these board games, at the photos. I didn't know even one of them. Yeah, I had to read about, every country has something new.
Yeah.
How incredible it is.
You wouldn't even think, would you,
No.
that there's these different board games in Ghana? It would never cross your mind. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
So, also this morning, I was contacted by the Filipino community, and we were talking about someone who sells apparently wonderful Filipino food, and they will be involved. So so many exciting things.
It sounds like I'm going to have to not eat for about 3 days before
Oh, yeah.
I come, so I can eat my way around the globe at the event.
Yeah.
But when we start thinking about the impacts of the event, I just wonder, you mentioned earlier that one of the original inspirations was obviously your son and him being proud of his heritage. And I wondered over the years, as he's grown up with World of Love, being exposed to all of those different people and all those different cultures, what do you think the impact of seeing all of that's been on him?
Oh my gosh, such a beautiful question, and thank you for asking. I have actually asked him a few weeks ago. We had a chat, and I did ask, and his answer was so beautiful. He's a very open-minded young man. As I've mentioned, he's nearly 14. He loves different cultures. He loves so we are different. I love, or I focus on different things. He, for example, is interested in sports from different countries. He loves some weapons from different countries. Perhaps I shouldn't be saying this. Food, oh my gosh. And most of all, languages.
Yeah.
So I've mentioned, so he's fully bilingual in English is his first language, then Polish, it's not, he's been learning Polish and English at the same time, but because of the exposure to the language, obviously Polish is his second language. Nevertheless, he can speak and write and read fluently.
And I know, speaking to you, he's tried a whole load of different languages, including Mandarin.
Yes. So you see, back in his first school in North Dorset, he was inspired by his head teacher, whose wife is Japanese. So one day my son came back from school and he said that he would like to learn Japanese. And I love to support my child in any way I can. So I thought, right, a bit challenging, but let's find out more about it. And then I started to read about this, and then he said, oh, and Mom, and actually Chinese is also interesting. So I started to read about Chinese. I found out that mainly it would be either Cantonese or Mandarin that he would have to learn. He wanted, at the age of 6, he wanted to learn both languages, which was a bit overwhelming for me. So we've decided, after lots of discussions, we've decided, okay, let's focus on one. It's going to be Mandarin Chinese. And back then, I thought, right, so my son is going to be trilingual. Yeah, so he's going to learn, on top of his 2 languages, he's going to learn Mandarin Chinese. Fine. It's a long story, and I'm not even going to tell you right now, because it's a separate long story about how I was teaching him Mandarin, because actually I was teaching him and I don't speak Mandarin. So I had to find some ways to teach him Mandarin in our non-diverse area, small village in North Dorset. I even managed to find a family in China who we made friends with, and the girls were teaching my son Mandarin and he was teaching them English with my help. So it's quite a crazy story. But I didn't know that for my son it's just the start. And these days, a few years forward, he doesn't learn Mandarin anymore, but he still remembers. But also he has been learning since then Japanese, Korean, Dutch. Right now he's learning Russian. At school he's learning, and he's very good at it, French and German. I can't even remember. Japanese. So right now, Norwegian. I might have missed something.
It's a pretty impressive list, even that.
He just loves to try. He's very much interested in different countries. He loves to, and this is something that I think in a way must be related to World of Love. So to him, it's about the way to communicate with people. So I know that when he comes, Spanish, of course, Italian, of course, I forgot. So when he comes to another country, or when he greets another person and he knows that they are from a different background, it's quite likely that he will be able to connect to them, with them, and yes, to them, because he will be able to say a few words.
And that does make a massive difference, doesn't it? Even if you're only able to greet them and say hello.
To greet, but no, he it's not just about saying hello. No, he goes, for example, right now in Norwegian, I think that if we go to Norway, he will be able to find, that's what he told me last time. So he told me that he is already able to find a direction. So if we get lost in Norway, he will be able to find out where we should go. He will be able to order some food in a restaurant, or go to a shop and buy some milk, bread, and so on.
That's amazing.
So yes, so I think it's what he has learned from World of Love is how important it is to connect with others, how important it is to see beyond just the face, how important it is to try and learn about the other person. And when he speaks, he has managed to make to meet and make friends with so many children from different backgrounds. Recently it was a boy whose mom is Italian, dad is British. They go to the same school, and and they talk in English and Italian. My son is not fluent in Italian, nevertheless he can speak to a certain degree. He can work out. The more languages you learn, the more languages you can hear, the easier it becomes for you to learn yet another language, because
Yeah,
You know,
train
there are
your
different.
ear and
Yes, yeah.
develop methods. It's good. He sounds like there's lessons for everybody from your son's story, but he's become a global citizen at 13 years old, and it will be interesting to see where it leads him in time. But if we think about the wider community,
Can I please
yes.
just add one more thing? Because we are talking
course.
about languages. I do apologize for interrupting, but I wanted to say something, and this is something important to me, and I think to others whose children can speak more languages. Do you know, when my son started learning, it was Mandarin back then, and as I've mentioned, every area is different, and especially when it's less diverse, sometimes not always people can see this bigger picture. And I remember that I've had quite a few conversations with adults about my son back then, and once they heard that he can speak also Polish, or that he's learning Mandarin, they would say, oh, so what is he going to do? So how is he going to use the other language? Oh, maybe he will become a translator. And you know, there is so much more than being a translator or a teacher of another language. If you are bilingual, if you can speak more languages, the world just opens up to you.
Yeah.
And for example, with my son, I highly doubted that he will become a translator, but he tells me that he wants to. One of the things, you know, he's still 13, so everything can change. For now, he tells me that he wants to work, he wants to be a CEO of marketing for Mercedes.
Okay.
And in Mercedes, what language can you speak? German. Yes, it's a German company. So with him, and he loves German. So he says, well, Mom, you know, I can speak English, I will speak German, and he really enjoys learning German. So it's going to be easier for him, maybe one day, you know, if he wants to work for Mercedes. Hello, Mercedes.
In case they're watching.
Yeah.
But you and him are absolutely right. I mean, I think about the work I do, and so many businesses are international now, international
Absolutely.
clients, that having that ability to build those relations and know the languages is invaluable.
Yes, exactly.
Like you say, goes way beyond people's kind of initial thoughts of translation. I mean, that's just scratching the surface.
Of course, you know, I was joking here a little, but this is the future for the children, like my son. You know, they can do so much more, and the more open they are to the world, the more they can achieve one day.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's about the languages, but also it's about the openness to other cultures.
Yeah.
It's yes, I wanted to say, it's like with you, I really appreciated that you have invited me, and you gave me this opportunity to talk about it. So it also shows how open-minded and open to the world you are.
Well, I hope so, and it's a pleasure having you. So, as we talk about, we've talked, it's clearly had amazing positive impact on your son. What about the wider community? Because obviously, World of Love is once a year. but I've heard you talk about how you want to have the benefits spread far beyond the festival grounds. And I wonder whether what you've seen as lasting impacts from the festival, whether you've seen relationships being built between those communities that kind of live on beyond and beyond that weekend.
That's another wonderful question. Yes, most definitely yes. So World of Love is the biggest event, but I've been also organizing smaller events. Normally with the smaller events I would focus on one particular community, but not always. Nevertheless, when you come to World of Love, I've mentioned before that it's quite likely that you will meet in this one place some unlikely communities. So some communities that normally you wouldn't expect to meet in the same place. And I won't be naming them.
People can come along and see for themselves.
Yes. And sometimes you just know that they wouldn't be together in the same place. Yet they come and they make friends. They start collaborations. I remember after the first event, back in this small school, not so small, 800 children, not so small. Anyway, so after the first event, I found out that one of the communities started language lessons for their children. And previously, I remember the conversations. It's like, as if it was yesterday. I remember that I asked, because I always get excited about, these people, what they have to offer. And I said, oh, wow, yes. So do you have your own language classes? Do you teach your children? And obviously a lot of these people, everyone, they work very hard. They spend a lot of time at work, which means that not everyone has enough time and can put enough effort to teach their children an additional language. Because please believe me, you will see when you have your child, it's work. It's not just, it doesn't happen just like this.
No.
It's work. It's constant work. Until now, my son is nearly 14 and we are still working on his Polish. I still have to be correcting him on certain things. So it's a lot of work. And when I was talking to these people, and I asked them, okay, so do your children speak your language? And I remember this look at me. They looked at me and they said, it's not that easy. We don't really have time because we work until late. And of course I understood, but how incredible it was for me, how incredible, when maybe 2 months later, I found out that they started language classes for their children. How wonderful. And I also have heard many times about the collaborations that they start with each other, or the organizations like the NHS or the police who come and they know that they will be able to reach out to people from different communities, and then they start their own collaborations because sometimes it's not easy for them to reach out to them, or like Lush, who came to World of Love because they were looking for people they could work with or who could work for them. Or when you come to the event, you will see, and to me it's always, such a beautiful view when, for example, I even have photos like this, when you can see this particular photo. I remember Polish children who came, I can't remember, I think it was a Nigerian stand, and they were trying some activities from Nigeria. You know, so many times they are not the things you would normally expect. No. So yeah, it's wonderful.
Wow, it's such a wide-ranging positive influence. And I just want to switch gear a little bit, because you touched upon the idea that you do have other projects, you do run other events. So I wanted to spare a moment to talk about another event of yours that made its debut earlier this year, Coastal Speed and Style, and another first for the South Coast, described as an outdoor supercar and luxury lifestyle family event. I went, as I said, I thought it was another great event, again free for everyone to attend, which is brilliant. I just wondered, where did that idea come from? What does the future hold? I know you mentioned your son and Mercedes, so is this another passion of yours?
I may not be very technical when it comes to cars, but I love cars. I love beautiful cars. I love the speed. I love the sound. I get really excited about it, and yeah, actually, it was just it's a new project, completely different to World of Love, as you can imagine. Yeah. Different people, different environment. Car people are such enthusiasts, and you can feel it, that they just absolutely love their cars. And I love it when they talk about them, it's as if they are talking about children.
I was going to say a baby.
Yes. Or sometimes, like you can feel that it's another wife or girlfriend, because they talk so lovingly about the cars. So it's wonderful. But the first event organized very kindly, thanks to Bournemouth Town Centre bid. So that was the event organized in the town centre. We have managed to involve some businesses from the town centre. The first time is always something new, always a lot of learning. Yeah. But yes, most definitely, I don't want it to be the last one. So I've already, even at the event, I was already asked when, not whether. I was asked when is going to be the next event.
That's good. I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to ask, will it be back in 2025?
Yes, most definitely. Although I already know, you see, this is always this experience and learning and listening to others. So most definitely I would love to involve more cars So not just supercars, because this time the focus was on the supercars, and I got so many other applications. And sometimes, I was looking at the descriptions, these loving descriptions, when you can feel it literally, that someone loves their baby so much. Or I was looking at the photos of these gorgeous vehicles, and I had to, put them aside, because the focus was
it
on
didn't fit the
supercar.
theme this year.
Yes.
But like you say, if you expand it next year, then maybe.
Yes, most definitely.
Well,
Most definitely,
That
yes.
sounds good. That's another exciting event for everyone in our area for next year. I'm going to talk now about another theme of this podcast, if you don't mind, because I can see, your face is lit up at certain things we've been talking about over the course of this show. But I'm all really interested in exploring the idea of happiness. What is it? How do we achieve it? And I always find it strange in a way that happy is such a small word. It's a word that you're taught as a kid, one of your first words, But it can seem like such a complex idea in the modern world at the same time. So what does happiness mean to you?
It's such a difficult question, but do you know? You ask so many incredible questions, so many. Do you know that actually this topic is very close to my heart, to the point when I started to consider. Right now I'm quite busy, but one day I hope I will be able to do it. So I was even thinking that I would love to write a book about happiness. Happiness, everyone sees it differently, don't we? Happiness to everyone is something else. And actually, a few days ago, I also spoke to someone about happiness, and we've been discussing what is happiness and what is being content in life, and what are the differences, and what is more important. Being content is, according to the definition, being content is having this blissful feeling spread in a more stable way in your life, while happiness apparently is this more enthusiastic, bright feeling that comes and goes. So it's being content is what we apparently, and that was surprising for me, being content is what we should be aiming for in the long term. And happiness apparently is this additional bright bubble that comes but also disappears, according to professionals. And I was a bit surprised, because to me, yes, happiness was what I wanted. To me, what is happiness? Happiness, I think, is feeling fulfilled in life, satisfied with what I do. Obviously, the most important thing, health of the people I love, but apart from that, this is the most obvious. Yes, just feeling that I do what I love and I'm satisfied with what I do.
Yeah.
But it's very complex.
It is. That's why I think it's such an interesting area, because I think we often talk, there's this kind of thought in the Instagram generation that happiness is just getting that car or getting that holiday, but actually it's much more complex in terms of, like you've talked about, that kind of underlying feeling and that journey of being content. And it's actually not about chasing those things, but it's about enjoying your journey there.
But at the same time, I'm not going to lie, to me, I can't really, I've had quite a long discussion about this being content versus being happy, because to me at the same time I can be quite an enthusiastic person and to me just being content probably wouldn't be sufficient. I need these bubbles of happiness. I need these,
these
bright, wonderful.
these
Yes,
moments,
yes, exactly. Because this is what makes our life beautiful. It's wonderful when, and it's ideal. It's perfect when you can have both. When you can feel that yes, you are satisfied with what is happening in your life, but then every now and then you have these wonderful feelings that, oh my gosh, so much, whatever is happening, it's so wonderful.
Yeah. I think another aspect, I'll look forward to reading your book, but some of the books I've read on the subject, they often talk about relationships again being at the heart of happiness. It's one of the pointed out as being probably the major factor, having great relationships, whoever it is with, a romantic partner or a family. And obviously your son has been a massive inspiration and motivation for everything you've done. I just wondered, how do you go about juggling all of the projects plus your personal life? Because I think that's something, a lot of people struggle with. So what would be your advice? How do you manage to balance out everything?
Honestly, I don't think I'm the right person to ask this question. I'm not a good example. No, this is something I work on, and actually I have started to work on very consciously, and I have been working on it. First, it all starts in your mind, so I have been working on it in my mind for the past few months, and there are changes coming, and I even told my son that yes, there will be some positive changes and I'm working on them. But no, I'm definitely not the right person to ask this question, because normally for me, especially when it comes close to the event, I work like mad. I work unhealthy hours. I have then no social life. I shouldn't be talking about it, because no, most definitely it's not something I'm proud of. But yes, it is what it is. At the same time, it's not. I'm conscious that it's not healthy and it's not the right way to live. So, there will be some changes.
Well, maybe you are a good example, because I think it helps people to just understand that, people are struggling with those same challenges, and just to be aware of it and to be conscious and to think, it's going to take an effort to change these things. I think that's as good a message for anyone in that kind of position, to be honest.
Life is beautiful and precious, and it's incredibly important to me to constantly be reminded of it, and just, you know, remember whatever I'm doing, that there are some priorities, and yes, making the right choices, it's important. The work and private life balance, this is a big challenge for me.
Difficult one, yeah.
Yes, especially when you want, I know what I would like to achieve, and it can be difficult when you work on your own. So yes, so I've been learning, I've come to some conclusions, and I will be, right now I've started to work very consciously on the changes, because there, certain things need to change, because it's important to have just normal private life. It's not all about work, even though I love my work and I get very excited about what I do.
Yeah, and I think just to be aware, I mean, it does come in kind of phases as well, doesn't it? Like you'll have a very busy phase, and just being comfortable with that. You know, there'll be other phases where you aren't so busy with those, and you can focus on other things. But this brings us back perfectly to where we started, in a way, because following all of this journey that you've been on, has the meaning of success changed for you? And today, now, what does it mean to you?
Most definitely it has changed. It is changing. It is changing. Everything is changing. You know, to me, when I think about myself, about my life, I'm not, obviously everyone is different. I like to think about myself as someone who is constantly learning. I don't like to, you know, we all have our own habits. And sometimes even for the past year, during the past year or so, I've realized that I've been doing certain things for years, and I realized while I've been doing them the way I did. And right now I'm working on the ways to change it, because I thought this is something I need to work on. So you're asking about success? Yes.
Yeah. How do you kind of determine what is success to you now? Because you said at the start, you know, I think like many of us, when you were 20, it was more about, you know, you need to earn money and finance, but now I think your whole journey is much more around the fulfillment, isn't it? And doing projects you're passionate about.
Feeling happy and fulfilled, yes, that would be my goal. Knowing that what I do, that I'm doing the things that I do better and better, it is important to me. Knowing that I'm able to bring some happiness to the people around me, it is important to me. It makes me happy knowing that I do something that even to a certain degree that it matters.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Well, we're approaching the end now of this episode. I wanted to finish with a feature that I'm calling Life by Misadventure, because I always think it's interesting that we learn so many important life lessons where we may not expect it, whether it's activities we're involved in away from work, could be playing sports outside of our normal daily lives, sometimes completely by accident. And I just wonder, have you got any lessons that you've learnt from an unexpected source?
Oh God, yes. Oh gosh. Most definitely. Oh my gosh, most definitely. No, a lot of lessons, although I'm not quite sure if I am prepared to talk about all of them in public. But please give me a second, because there is actually something, and this is I would say the most important lesson in my life, and I've learned it only recently. I've learned it the hard way, a very hard way. As I said, to me, my life, my work is always about connecting, working with people. So the relationships with others, this is the core of what I do and what I'm like. And what I've learned is that it's important in life, work, in private life, to focus on the actions and not the words. Sometimes people, I'm the kind of person who sometimes right now we talk, and I love talking, especially about the things that I truly enjoy and I'm passionate about. But there are also other things when I know that something needs to be done, or different situations and different examples. But normally I am someone who, when something needs to be done, I just do it, and I put all my heart, all my effort into it, all my time, everything, to do things. And I've learned that even though I'm not a 15-year-old who is only starting life, so I should have known probably, nevertheless, this is what I've learned. Sometimes people talk a lot, but they don't do things. And this is something incredibly important. So for me, that's my lesson. And I would advise, if I could give advice, I would advise everyone, whenever you do something with others, look at what they do, not what they say. Because words can be the most beautiful words in the world. Nevertheless, focus on the action. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant advice. And I even now I'm sat here thinking I've met people like that, and I'm sure a lot of the audience will relate to that and think, yeah, I've met people. So I think that's a great reminder.
Words can be so deceiving, especially when we hear them and they are the words exactly that we want to hear. And then we can just forget. Yeah. We can just forget that this needs to go together, the words and the actions.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Brilliant way to end.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for just being a fantastic guest for episode 1. Just before we finish, what are the best links for people to keep up with your projects? We've obviously got worldoflovefestival.co.uk. Where else is best for people to catch up and make sure they're up to date with everything you're doing?
So coastalspeedandstyle.co.uk, so that's the other website. And of course, please find us on Facebook and on Instagram.
Fantastic. And I know you're looking for volunteers for World of Love and sponsors.
Absolutely.
So is that the same best place for people to contact you, or LinkedIn? What's the best? Any of those?
Yes. So if someone reaches out through the social media, I think it's the easiest way.
Yeah.
Unless someone will remember my email address. It's bea@worldoflovefestival.co.uk. But I think social media is the easiest way.
Fantastic. Well, we'll put all the links in the description so people know how to find you. So thank you so much, Bea. Thank you so much for creating World of Love. As I said earlier, with so many negative stories, it's just amazing to have someone in our community bringing all of these cultures together. I know it's a real passion of yours, and just hearing your enthusiasm's just been really fantastic for me. You're a much needed driving force for unity as far as I can see. So I just want to wish you all the best for your mission, and I look forward to having you back to discuss your next projects.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.